And welcome to Who Dares Rolls. I am your host, Mike B. And here we are again with, unsurprisingly, an astounding turn of events, a video. Yes, this is a video, but it's different. It's not my usual waffle. It's a whole different level of waffle. This is what I am going to pop forward to is the best board game movies you could watch out there today. These are either board game adjacent movies or in fact directly influenced by the original games. So that's what we've got, that's what we're doing. This is in no particular order. This is just a bunch of movies and a stroke adjacent games that are worth either play or watch. Yes, it's the best board game movies list. Way quick, I'll just mention because people are going to watch the video and go, hey, you did mention this. So yes, there is Jumanji and Zathura, which are kind of adjacent to. Jumanji has a board game in it, so does Zathura. They play the game. We could say that. There were okay movies. Obviously, we've had the subsequent follow-ups of the Jumanjis, which are video game based, which are actually pretty good fun. But yeah, they are there. They're there, and they're there. I quite liked Zathura when I first saw it. I don't know. So there's them, and then because I've got to mention it, Battleship came out in 2012-ish time, which was kind of loosely based on the Battleship game by Hasbro. It was based on that, but that's about it, the name really. Giant space aliens attacking a fleet of ships with Liam Neeson looking very Neeson-ian, blowing shit up.
Prepare to fire.
Yes, sir, which weapons?
Yeah. No. Right, so that's enough of that. Actual movie, it's about one on the list. This is a board game adjacent. It's going to be Dungeons and Dragons. No, well, just before you go away, not that one.
Do you really think you can steal my destiny?
So we're talking Dungeons and Dragons for the last year or so, from Dungeons and Dragons with Chris Pine, Michelle Rodriguez. It is directed by, I can't remember the name of, Jonathan Goldstein and John Francis Daly, the team behind Game Night, which we may come to a bit later on. It's a really just a fucking great rollicking thing. It does a really great job of evoking the D&D world and throwing enough nods, winks and references to stuff that the nerds are happy, the non-nerds are also happy.
Follow me to the orifice.
The orifice?
Throws in a reference to the 1980s cartoon, which is a really nice touch. And just generally really refreshing, surprising and fun. Good giggle, great cast, and it does everything it's supposed to do. And it feels kind of like an RPG session, this kind of rip-roaringly stupid RPG session. And it's worth a watch. It is really worth a watch. And don't watch the other one. No, not even Richard O'Brien.
Finish the maze, you win the prize.
Dungeons and Dragons, Honor Among Thieves, well worth a watch. Next up, again, we're kind of adjacent, but it's Ready or Not, focused around a recent bride that she's just recently married into a very rich board game publishing family, the Randolph Hearst of board game publishers. And she's at that big mansion to celebrate the wedding.
At midnight, you have to play a game.
Why?
It's just something we do when someone new joins the family.
A game. What game? Hide and seek?
Part of this initiation is that they will play a game. And then the fun begins in murderous, violent, hilarious fashion. It has that sort of survival feel type game running around the mansion and mayhem and the rules changing kind of constantly. A great protagonist in Samara Weaving's character who's just really great, resourceful, clever, smart, funny. And also at some point even manages to shoehorn some mythos in there. So a bit of old HB kind of sneaks into the edges as well, which of course makes it clearly a board game from Fantasy Flight. Werewolves Within, another board game adjacent movie, is actually based on the video game Werewolves Within, but it is itself based on the werewolf setup, or like Don Eskridge's Resistance, that style of hidden traitor stuff going on. This again is a comedy horror. It's set in this frozen area. It's got a great cast again, a wonderful kind of plot that's twisty-turny going on as you follow along, just like a game of Werewolf or any of those sort of Resistance, any of those hidden traitor round the table games. It gets into all the meaty, funny games of that, and keeps you guessing, and is just generally really good fun, bit of low budget but entertaining fun.
It's one of them.
One of what?
A lycanthrope.
A what?
A werewolf.
Maybe you're a werewolf. Maybe you're a werewolf. You're a werewolf. You're a werewolf. You're a werewolf. Maybe we're all werewolves.
Are we really in a Mexican standoff right now?
Baby, don't say Mexican. Just stand up.
So the movie you watch to get you in the mood for playing a hidden traitor game. And if people enjoy that, if muggles enjoy that, then you could kind of put them towards say, hey, wouldn't you like to play a game of this? Definitely an indie board and cards type release when it comes to that, rather than a big budget FFG release. But yes, highly entertaining, highly recommended, Werewolves Within. Thank you. We mentioned earlier, so I'm going to mention it again, is Game Night. Jason Bateman and Rachel McAdams are fantastic in this. It is by the team, as I say, behind Dungeons & Dragons, Among Thieves. They did it before. A stacked cast, actually, a really good thing, centered around a game night a bunch of friends have.
Tonight, we're taking game night up a notch. We don't need a board and we do not need pieces.
We won't need any extra rudeness either.
Someone in this room is going to be taken.
Oh, it's a murder mystery party.
Fun! Whoever finds the victim wins the grand prize, the keys to the Stingray.
Just the keys?
No, Ryan, the whole car.
Oh, yeah!
Bateman's a very highly competitive game player, certainly. He's got issues with his brother. And it kind of falls into the realms of Fincher's The Game, which is another adjacent sort of thing you can watch just there as a footnote, and amusing and entertaining and weird and twisty, as only David Fincher can do.
So what brings you to town, Conrad? Everything all right?
October 12th. Nikki's birthday.
This is for you. Consumer Recreation Services.
Call that number.
Why?
They make your life fun.
What are you selling?
It's a game.
A game.
Specifically tailored for each participant. One day, your game begins. You either love it or hate it.
Are you going to spend the rest of the evening prying at that clown's mouth?
Mr. Van Orton, is everything all right?
They won't stop, Nick.
He's in on it.
I paid the bill. I paid him more to make it stop. Who's behind this? Who did this to me? Why?
This is all the game.
They make your life fun.
So there's one else for your list. But coming back to where we are with Game Night.
You're not going to know what's real and what's fake.
Is this gun real?
Oh, no, Andy.
Oh, no. Oh my God, I shot you!
What the? It's got this twisty-turny plot. You don't quite know what's going on. You're in the joke with the characters. Has some literally laugh-out-loud moments. Both Bateman and McAdams have, I think, both got the moments, the chef's kiss of the movie at least once each during it.
I've always enjoyed the camaraderie of good friends. It's often we don't appreciate what we have until it's gone.
Oh, because your wife left you.
Fucking brilliant stuff. Really funny, really amusing, really underrated. I think it's been found, as years have gone on, as it's become somewhat of a cult favourite, I think. Definitely worth a watch. As I say, not directly based on anything, but just as a rollicking, entertaining movie with some board game references in it, then you should take that.
Oh, shh. So we'll take a little bath. Oh, it's so much worse.
Okay.
And mentioning Fincher, as we did with the game, which is kind of board game adjacent, there is also Gone Gale, which actually does have board games in it, and Ben Affleck's Todger, apparently. But yes, board games are in that one, and it's Fincher. Always worth a watch. So just before I mention the final movie on here, which is very board game specific, I'm going to skip just over here, just to the left, tap over this way. You see something else that probably is a little-known gem called The Last of Sheila from 1973. Again, a stacked cast. James Coburn, Richard Benjamin, Ian McShane, and Rebecca Welsh. There's a lot of people in there. James Mason. Great cast.
What's the game?
Well, the idea is to discover everybody's secret, without peeking, of course, and to prevent the other players from discovering yours.
And how would you do that?
Every day we'll park in a different port where you can discover the proof of one person's secret. I'll announce what secret it is to look for and give you a clue, which will tell you what to do and where to go on shore. Now, if you solve the clue properly, It'll lead you to where the proof is.
Written by Anthony Perkins and Stephen Sondheim. The only one they actually wrote together. They were huge, big party game fans. So I can imagine these two would have been sat around playing something like Werewolf, any of that sort of stuff, if it was around in the 70s. I don't know what they would have been playing. But yeah, big, massive, nerdy fans. They concocted this whodunit mystery, which plays out like a fantastic sort of in real life LARP traitor game, hidden traitor game, and just centered around Coburn trying to work out who potentially murdered his wife, who dies at the very start of the movie. It's twisty-turny, a stacked cast, very darkly humorous.
Don't touch.
Definitely had a massive influence on Rian Johnson when he came to make the Knives Out movies, and I think he's mentioned it previously. If you're fans of Knives Out, this has got more than a little DNA and genetics spliced together of that. Really great. Really criminally underseen and hard to find. I think there's some import DVDs you can hunt around if you look around for them, but they're not cheap. I think at one point in time this was on Amazon to buy or rent. And if you really sniggle around and rummage around on the edges of the internet, you may well find yourself a copy or two to watch. But highly recommended is The Last of Shiva. Fantastic stuff. This nails it. This is probably the best board game movie at the moment, and it's really simple. It's Clue.
Clue. It's not just a game anymore.
A flop in its original release, though I think it's been re-evaluated as the years have cracked by. A cracking script by Jonathan Lynn. It was involved in it from, yes, Prime Minister fame. He also directed the movie. It was his Hollywood debut. Crashed and burned, and took a while for him to get back into Hollywood after that.
What do you mean? Murder.
But only one of these suspects is the murderer.
Again, a stacked cast of some of comedy Hollywood royalty about to hit the big time.
I hated her so much. It flames on the side of my face. This is incredible.
Not so incredible as what happened next. After we all split up again, I went upstairs with you. Yes, you.
And of course, Tim Curry is the Wadsworth the butler, who is just fucking fantastic and on fire as this movie goes on. And some of his scenes are just amazing. The stuff he does, and I'm a huge big Tim Curry fan. Not only that, it manages to capture the idea behind Clue, the game. You've got the characters in there. You've got the murder weapons. You've got a murder.
This is getting quite serious.
And this one, when it first came out, had an innovative thing where actually they'd filmed 3 different endings, and all of them work. The idea originally was you would go and see the movie with the 3 endings at the end, but Hollywood, in its infinite wisdom, decided when they released it, they only added one of the endings and you never knew what you were getting. So ended up the idea being that you'd watch the movie and go, my goodness, I wonder what the other ending is. And then you'd go back and watch it. But actually what happened is audiences went, oh, and didn't go back and watch anymore.
Nobody can get into that position.
Sure they can. Let me show you.
Get off me.
And it's got a bit of mystery thrown in for good measure. And Tim Curry. You can never have enough Tim Curry.
No.
So there you go. There's my list of the best board game movies. I'm sure I've missed a dozen of them, and I'm sure I'm about to get berated in about 5 seconds' time in the comments. So be it. Have at it. Indulge. Point me in the direction of. I'm sure there's stuff I have missed, but there you go. This is a good place to start. More importantly, the question is, what game would you like to be seen made into a movie? Thinking long and hard and fast about that. One that really pops to mind is Room 25, if you've never played it. I love Room 25. It is kind of similar to Rob's from the movie Cube, to be honest. It's set in some sort of future society where there's a TV show where these bunch of convicts, people, don't know, thrown into this game show where there's this ever-evolving maze where there's sudden death and nice stuff in different rooms, and the game plays out brilliantly with you have a hidden traitor mode in there, so you never know who's the good guys and the bad guys. You're sneaking around, you have certain actions and action selection and counter movement, and you have wonderful moments of people being shoved into different rooms, which is an option you can do, and suddenly eviscerated by a violent, horrible thing in there. Lots of cool stuff, an ever-evolving maze. I say the hidden traitor element as a game, it is a cracker, highly recommended. I think there's a big box of edition you can seek out now, which is relatively reasonable. It's got all the stuff in it. Good fun and plays quite a high player count. Would make, in my opinion, a rather cracking movie. And it makes, on its own, a fantastic thing to play of an evening. There you go. So there you go. There is my best board game movies list. Can you do better? Have I missed anything? What would be your best board game movie? And what board game would you like to see made into a movie? That's repeating stuff we've already done. I've been Mike B. This has been Who Dares Rolls, and here's been a random video about board game movies, kind of. Until next time, play some board games. Or maybe watch some movies about them. Shit, forgot the documentary. That's our board game movies, but what about documentaries? There is a few around actually worth a watch. There is Games Master, which is on Amazon. I've seen definitely on there. You can rent or buy it for a couple of quid. That's quite a good, more modern documentary. Follows a bunch of Kickstarter creators as they bring their designs through to flourish, and also kind of goes off and has a look at the industry. It's really good. It's not bad at all. Kind of drops off towards the end, but it's actually a cracking little board game, recent-ish. Published run and worth a watch. There's Going Cardboard is a little bit older. That's definitely more in the realms of a bit of a kind of board game thing. Again, fascinating to watch. If you enjoy the hobby, you would enjoy it because you're watching something about your hobby that's enjoyable. A bit harder to track down in the UK. I've not seen it many places. I think you can buy it directly from the director if you haven't found for Going Cardboard online. But yeah, there may be ways of finding that. And finally is the next great American board game. Follows Randall Hoyt, a interesting character with some challenges in his life, who goes about designing a board game, and it follows his sort of rags to riches kind of tale of him trying to get the board game designed with his own personality quirks and interesting outlook on the life. And actually, having played the game Roadhog, which eventually was what came out, it's a fucking really good little party game, and it's hard to get now. I know Tony has a copy of it. And again, really interesting thing to watch. It goes a bit more into that designer, but it does have adjacency to, at the time, I think about 8 years ago now it was made, of the industry as it was growing. So good look, good watch. There you go. Something else you can watch on top of all the other stuff I've said. There you go. So there's some cracky documentaries that you could be watching. Just saying. Right, be off with you.